Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with the next installment of our Spellbinders Celebration Week. I like to call it that. Who would not enjoy all of these wonderful kits that they produce every month? So for this video, we are going to focus on the Amazing Paper Grace die of the month, and this is for February. And it is called... oh, she comes up with wonderful names. Bella Diamante. This is 7 dies. And you can see you have your outline. So this will fit just onto a 5x7. So this is the card that you'll get. And then, of course, some inspiration here. And you get one of those awesome cinch. Is that what it's called? Cinch. Yes, cinch and go flowers. I can't say that word. Okay, so, and I'll be showing you that, and that's this right here. And then you get the square cutout that fits inside this section here. And then you also get these two pieces. So you can just have this cut out onto your card, or if you want it to be a frame, you would just set this around it. So you get those 2 dies as well. Then you have your center diamond so that you can have the background for this one, or you could just put this in there and then you'll have that cut out. So again, different ways. And then you have this beautiful filigree design. And again, by putting this in here, you would actually get a thin band that goes around the outside, but this could do the cutout on the center. So those are all the dies when it comes to this. So lots of different combinations to create your cards or what you're looking to create. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I have just a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 80-pound weight piece of ivory cardstock. I have cut and scored the center panel. That's just using this die here. And I have this beautiful darker aqua. And again, I've scored it in the center of that piece. Then I have the beautiful filigree piece die cut. And you can see when that's solid, it'll just sit beautifully right on top of that. So I need one of those. I brought in a chocolate brown, and that is where I used just the triangle die to cut that out. And then I'm going to use, here is the beautiful piece that is cut, and that's going to sit on top of the chocolate brown. And again, these ivories are matching up to the background. And then I cut a 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, or just under a 2 1/4, like a 2 1/8 by a 2 1/8 square, making sure, yes. And I've stamped my sentiment and gold embossed it, and it just says everything happy. And I used the clear stamp sentiments where you can make up your own sentiment. I am in love with this set only because of the different fonts and how these 3 words have that large boldness to them. So we're going to do something just a little bit different. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set those aside. I've done my die cutting for my cinch and go. See, if I say it slowly, I'm good. So I've got all kinds of flowers here, and really I only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to show you how I colored it. So this is the color of flower that I have. It's like a gray putty, which would look really pretty with this color scheme that I have here if you want. But I just wanted to add a little bit of pink. It just gives it a different color to it. So I've got my ink blending brush here, and I've got one of my Desiree K inks, and this is called Dusty Rose. And all I did was put some ink on my brush, hold these 2 down, and then just take care of the first half, go into my ink again, and then take care of the second half, and it just gives it some different color to it. So it just changes it just a little bit. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I want to put my flowers together. So I've got my little pot here with some floral wire that I've cut and just some regular beads there that I'm going to use. And I want to grab my paper creaser, and I'm just going to curl these edges, and then I'm going to turn them around and I'm going to do the other side. Again, just breaking those papers. Now you can wet these. You can really have fun with these flowers, and I'm just going to show you the one so that we're not going too crazy. So I'm going to use 2 layers here. And I'm actually just going to crank. I'm going to crank. Just, you know, distress them. That's pretty much what I'm looking to do. You know, bend them up. Wetting them is probably easier, but if I wet these now, there's ink on them. So I know that they will, my hands will just get completely inky. So that's why I am not doing that. And then I'm going to grab one of my wires and one of my beads. I'm going to wire this through. And then I'm just going to bend it right around that bead. Get that back up in there. And I want to make sure it's even. So I want to make sure the holes are on the side. And then I'm going to pinch this wire down. Get my nail in there. And then I'm just going to twist. I just want to make sure that it's even and it's right down the center. And I'm just going to twist. And this is a little off, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep twisting. And then just pull it together. And now I have that bead. All right. I'm going to go down the center. And then I'm just going to bunch these up around it, and then that's what our flower is going to look like. And what I'll do is I'll be putting glue in between. Just gotta grab my glue here. I need my glue. There we go. So I'm just gonna put a little dab down here. Oh, that would have made a mess if I really let that go, wouldn't have? All right, I'm gonna make sure that they're staggered. I'm going to snap that up so that that glue gets together. And again, just crank it. I'm just going to crank these up. I really want them distressed. I think the more distressed that they look, the better they are. Now, I'm going to pinch this like this. I'm going to grab my cutters. And I'm going to cut up close. And then I'm going to bend it. And just tuck that up behind one of the flowers there. And I'm just going to turn this, make sure that they are offset. And then I'm just going to pinch it down to make sure that it's flat. The wire, that is. And just put a little glue down there so that it stays. All right, I'm going to do that with the rest of my flowers, and we'll be right back. Okay, so let's start putting our card back together, or together. All right, so remember, this is just a regular 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to use my liquid glue, and I'm only going to put glue on the one side. I hope this works. Just saying. All right. And I'm going to line this up. I'm going to fold it over. I want to make sure that it's centered. All right, we're going to push that down. So I have it glued on this side. I'm going to use my bone folder. Just going to crease that down. Okay, now I'm going to take my next layer and I'm going to glue this down. Now this time I'm going to start on the front side, the side that's not adhered. And I'm just going to put dots of glue along this, making sure the little bobbles there have some glue on them so that they don't get caught on anything. And I'm going to start on this side and I'm going to place this down, make sure it's even. But again, everything's good if it's not perfect. And now I'm just going to put glue down on this, but the same thing, making sure that I have glue. Just in certain areas so that it doesn't stick up or get caught on anything. And I'm going to roll this over and push down. And now I'm going to take this and make sure that's pushed over. And then just make sure these areas here are down. And again, take that bone folder and just really crease her down because we've got a lot going on here. Okay. So now next comes our triangle. Same thing. Put the triangle down. I'm going to do half of it first. And I'm going to set this in place, making sure those points are right where they need to be. I'm going to turn this over, put glue, so you can see I'm just building this image. And now I'm going to pick this up, I'm going to roll her over, and then push her down. And then I'm going to push this back down as well. Get that bone folder in there. And you can see I'm just building this on top of each other. And then this here is going to get straddled across that as well. Now we've got a lot of things that are just folded over when it comes to this. So here's my bow, and that is going to be our mechanism. All right, so again, we're going to start halfway down. Again, now we're getting a little bit smaller in our details, which is fine. So I do suggest a liquid glue when it comes to this, because I think you will get a better secureness, if that's a word, but it will definitely be more secured when it comes to this. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I just think it's better if I take this and I roll it down and then I press down onto it to make sure that we're getting those creases and we're putting that pressure on it. I'm going to come in on the front. Okay. So now what I want to do is I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to take our sentiment and I'm going to put that right in here. So I'm just going to glue that in there. And I want to make sure that it's tucked up in there. It doesn't need to be perfect, but just to sit in there so that when this closes, you don't see that. Now I am going to grab, I want to trim these. Do I want to go this way or do I want to go that way? I want to go this way. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. All right, now I'm going to get a glue dot and I'm going to put that right there at the base. Not too far up, but I do want that down further. Here we go. So I'm going to grab a glue dot and I'm going to need a bunch of them because I'll need those for my flowers as well. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it towards the base of this bow. And I'm going to grab some more because I really want the base of the bow to stay. So we're going to grab another one and I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to grab another one. And I'm going to put that down there. And now my fingers are stuck. Okay, here we go. So now I'm going to close this and I'm going to put it up onto that lip. And I need to move this up. Okay, so that when the recipient gets it, this will sit right underneath that bow. And that's our closing mechanism. So you can see how that works. Now I have the bow down too far, so we just need to move that up just a little bit without tearing my paper. There we go. Okay, so now we have our card closed. Now, we need another one. So I'm just going to put that underneath that. These glue dots are really strong. All right. And I'm going to put one right there. And I need two more. And I'm going to put that there. And one more. And we're going to squish that right in there. Okay. Now, we have a lot of layers here. Absolutely. Now, of course, I must get some gems You must always put gems. I'm going to grab my gold ones because I did the gold embossing on the inside. Just going to dump these out. And we're just going to start putting our gems down there. And I want these really small ones first. And then I want a little bit bigger one there. And then I think on every one of these curly cues, we must put a gem. Absolutely must have gems. So I'm going to do bigger ones here. Just the tough part is, and if you hear that, that's my cat. Yes, my cat snores. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. My cat's awesome. So once I know I have the same size, I am always going to make sure I'm picking up the same size. For it's making me laugh that I'm hearing him snore. That I'm picking up the same size for each section. So I'm going back and forth just to make sure. Yeah, wow. He's really having a good time there. And hopefully I'll find another one that size. And I think that's it right there. Oh, I didn't grab it. There we go. Okay. He's dreaming now, I think. I think he's dreaming. He's running. Oh, if we only knew what was in the mind of an animal. But yeah, he is upside down and he is snoring. So there you go. That is our card. So the bow is the closing mechanism. And if we just bend that up just a little bit, we can then open this up and we see our sentiment that says happy everything. And we can write around that. And then to close it, I'm gonna shift my gems. I just want to make sure that that bow is right down there. And you can see I'm moving my hands and she's staying because that's the closing mechanism. And then on the other side, you can also decorate that as well. But we have that. So something just a little bit different. It doesn't always have to be a completely open card. We could just use the base and then wrap our image around. So I do hope you enjoyed this, featuring the amazing Paper Grace die of the month for February. And again, this is called the Bella Diamante. So many possibilities with this, so many different designs, but this is something that will cover entirely the front of a 5.5 by 7, or excuse me, a 5 by 7 card base. I would even go a little bit bigger. I would go to a 5.5 by 7.5 when you make your card base if you want to have this full frontal effect. So as always, the links will be down below for the gallery, the blog, for all the inspiration that you need to their shop, and especially the link to all of the clubs that they have available, and also the value clubs, where if you match clubs together and subscribe at once, you get a discount or a better deal. So enjoy, have fun looking around. And what's great is every month as all the kits come out, they all do work really well together, which is, I think, really, really great. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Remember, keep smiling, laugh a little bit. It will help as we continue through our challenge. We're almost there, absolutely. But remember what's most important. Just do it a little bit each day, because 2021 is going to be the year to be creative. Take care, everyone. Until next time.